Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon everyone. I would like to invite the panel members on stage now so that we can start. The topic of today's panel is mentoring and growing next generation leaders for our NGOs. I would first like to invite Dr. Corinne Kumar. She is a philosopher, poet, human rights theoretician, and an activist. She helped to establish and promote the World Court for Women and serves as the international coordinator for same. She is also the co-founder of Vimochana Forum for Women's Rights in Bangalore, working on issues such as domestic violence, dowry-related deaths, and workplace sexual harassment. She also served for over 20 years as the Secretary General of El Thaler International, an international NGO based in Tunis. And she was also formerly the director for the Center of Development Studies in India, and she's a founding member of the Asian Women's Human Rights Council. She's also the editor of 2 human rights journals, Sangharsh and The Quilt. We would invite Dr. Corinne Kumar to come, please. Also, interestingly, from what I read on the web, El Thaler has 500 NGOs. You want to come here and speak? That's also fine. No, yeah, just one. So El Thaler has 500 NGOs itself as members of its organization. So you have seen such long-living NGOs at close quarters. What sustains an NGO in the long run? If you could throw some light on that, plus anything else you want to talk about, please.
Sharif, thank you, Sharif. Thank you very much. I wasn't expecting to be the first speaker because I wanted to learn much more about you. However, I want to thank Sigma and also the Lead Trust for inviting me to speak to you this morning. Friends, as I was sitting here a little earlier, I was hearing the word poverty. Some people are working with people who they say do not have education. And I was thinking of a little story, and I thought I should tell you the story to begin with. I know Sharif said to me 10 minutes, but I'll try and work this little story into the 10 minutes. It's from Rabindranath Tagore's Riches of the Poor. And there was this land it's an imaginary land, so you have to go a little with me in my imagination. And this was the imaginary land of Srivasta, and this was prone to a lot of drought. Drought in many ways. We have drought in many ways in our country also. But there was drought in many ways, and he was preaching to people. Maybe he was Muhammad, maybe he was Christ, maybe he was Buddha, maybe he was Ram, maybe he was somebody. But he was talking there, and he noticed that there were millions of people there listening to him. But he also noticed that the people were very poor and very hungry. And so he thought, let me get them something to eat. And so he looked around and he saw Sadiq, and he said, Sadiq, what about you? Do you have anything for people? And Sadiq said, no, my lord, the king has taken all my money in taxes. I have nothing to give the people. And then he looked at Jaisen, and Jaisen said, no, my lord, I have nothing to give the people like this. And so he went on looking for Buddha, for Supriya, for everybody that he knew, but he couldn't find anybody who said to him, yes, I will find some food for the people. And then at the back of the crowd, there was this little hand that went up, and this was the hand of Supriya, the beggar's daughter. And she stood up and she walked quietly to the front of the audience, and she said to him, I will feed the people. And everybody turned to look at her and said, how will she feed the people? She is, after all, the beggar's daughter. And she said, my largesse, my food, my shelter, everything I will get at your doors, because I will come to all your doors and ask for it for people. Supriya was saying something to all of us in the NGOs. I come from an NGO also, as Sadiq, he told you. What I want to say to you is that she changed the dominant way of thinking. And the dominant way of thinking is that if you are poor, then you have nothing to give. If you are poor, you were made poor. If you are poor, that is your fate, that sometime in the next life, or if there's no next life, well, you have to suffer it in this life. She changed that. She talked of the riches of the poor. She talked of the poor as human beings. She saw the poor as a community of people. She saw the poor as somebody that she could walk with. This, my friends, is a little story that I tell all of us in the NGOs, because in the work that we are doing, what we need is not the politics of hate, not the politics of getting ahead, not the politics of achievement, not the politics of the big national or the big international corporate sector, not that kind of it. What we need is the politics of, I would call it, of care and compassion, the politics of compassion. And you have to ask yourselves, everybody, do I have those politics? Do I really care for, not myself, but do I care for people who work with me? Do I care for people that I work with? Do I have compassion for people? Because I think today when leaders of the NGOs, like all of you are, you start to choose your team, you start to choose the people you work with, you will look at what have they achieved, what have they competed for, what are the awards they have got, what are the degrees they hold, what is all the length of whatever they have. Does anyone look at the heart of people? And I think today, and today especially in India, where there is so much of politics of hate, we need to infuse another kind of compassion into the politics that we have today. Another kind of thinking of each other as human beings, thinking of each other as we did many years ago. We simply thought of each other as human beings. Today we see each other as symbols that identify us. The skull cap, the burqa, the gungat, the sindoor, all these are things that identify people. And this is wrong to me. This is the politics of hate. So what we need today is the politics of compassion. I finished my 10 minutes? Yes? So I would like to hear from you after this, when all the other panelists, and I hear from the panelists also, after you have finished speaking, that we have a good discussion on what do we need in India today. I think those of you who have been, like me, many years ago, started an NGO, we need to change today. We need to see that our politics are failing us. I say it with great humility and with great sadness also, because I think if we congratulate ourselves today, we are wrong. We have missed something extremely important, and this has grown underneath us, and today it has grown into something very large that can devour and kill all of us. So, friends, I hope that in the discussion we will have more time for the politics of compassion. Thank you.